today from noon to 1. If you ever want to make up, you can do that. So I appreciate you guys cutting it short. So thanks very much for being here. Just want to let everybody get settled first before we get started. Is he back? You ready to roll? County executive says we're ready to roll, then by golly, we're ready to roll. So my name is Mike Elam. I'm the chairman of the St. Charles County Council, and I will be your MC for today. I fit the budget, as they say, so we're very happy that you made time to be here today. I know for some of you, this is probably your third or fourth Veterans celebration today. Some of you are crisscrossing the state to be at different Veterans celebrations today, so we appreciate you being here. I wanted to recognize some of our guests who are here. Governor Mike Parson is here. Governor, good to see you. And he brought the First Lady, Teresa, with him today as well. Senator Roy Blunt is with us today. U.S. Representative Ann Wagner. From our Missouri Legislature, Speaker Pro Temp John Newman is here. So John is over there. We put all the representatives together, I noticed, so I like how that worked out. The Adams are here. Representative Adam Schnelting is there. And then Representative Adam Schwadron is here. We get discounts if your name is Adam. It puts you up a little quicker. I saw Representative Nick Schroyer is here. Nick's way in the back. There you go. From Senator Hawley's office, Sam Safa is here. So Sam, thank you very much for coming. Mayor Lynn Pagano is here. Lynn and I have that same history. We both started in the Navy and ended up with the Army. But I think I'm still claiming Navy. You go with that Army hat. So God love you for doing that. We have at least 3 of our judges that I saw here. Chris McDonough is here. Brittany Smith is here. And Judge Rebecca McKelvey is here as well. She's easy to overlook, so she's here somewhere. Oh, there you are. See? Look at that. We have a lot of folks who are here from our cities. We appreciate you being here. I know O'Fallon just finished theirs. I think St. Peter's finished theirs. So we appreciate all you guys coming by and being a part of this today. We have very special guests with us, and Lance Corporal Jared Schmidt's family is joining us today. We appreciate you being here. So with that, we will move on to the presentation of our colors. Larry Dufour is the officer of the day. He is from American Legion Post 312. We also have VFW Post 2866, who's part of our colors for the day. So officer of the day, if you would, post the colors. Thank you, gentlemen. For the singing of our national anthem today, Captain Larry Rubling, United States Air Force retired, is singing with us.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Larry. For our Pledge of Allegiance today, I'd ask you to remain standing. Don Newman from VFW Post 2866.
Veterans, present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order.
Thank you. You may be seated. I think we actually worked in a flyover. It probably was commercial, but we're going with it. Hey, St. Charles County doesn't have that kind of, Jeff City budget, but we're counting it as it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to give a warm welcome to our St. Charles County Executive, Mr. Steve Hellman.
Thank you, Mike. As County Executive, I want to welcome all of you to our beautiful historic courthouse, especially the elected officials who have joined us today. We appreciate everyone being here today to listen to some inspiring words from our governor and enjoy the view of the wide Missouri. And in keeping with the day, a lot of you know that one of my favorite TV series was Band of Brothers. And if you remember, Governor, was it maybe the 5th or 6th series was called Replacements. And it was about how difficult it was for these new guys to come in and replace people in a unit, been fighting together for a year already. And I was thinking about that with what happened to you. You were the replacement as governor, and that had to be one of the toughest jobs anybody could possibly do. And of course, you had some preparation. You were a county sheriff in Polk County and served 4 years in the House and I think 6 years in the Senate. And that's some preparation, but after all, that's the legislative branch, right? And you just had a tremendous challenge. And I know the first week that you were in office, you were here in St. Charles, met with the mayor and myself, and very simple question: what can we do to help you and your constituents? And I just want you to know how much we appreciated that. And of course, you've now been elected on your own, and we are very, very pleased to have you here today as a veteran yourself who served 6 years in the Army, and to have you here to honor that band of brothers and sisters who have given service to our country. Thank you. Governor Parson.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, first of all, it's great to be here in St. Charles, but I want to tell you something before I ever started any remarks. We owe a couple of people a round of applause, and I'm going to tell you who they were because I had a ringside seat. These two men over here representing VFW did not let that American flag hit the ground a while ago in the wind blow, and I thank you so much for that. It's always great to be in St. Charles. What a beautiful day to celebrate Veterans Day. so many dignitaries here with the senator and the congresswomen, mayors, elected officials all over the state. But today is really about veterans, is who it's about. And I want, a lot of times as a veteran, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I hadn't served my country. I've been fortunate and blessed in my career to do a lot of things. And no doubt about it, if I hadn't have been 19 years old serving in the United States Army, I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have that experience. So you veterans that are here today, it's great that we get honored. And I'm always humbled by that, to be one of those very few people. But I'm asking you veterans to do me a favor today. Something that we realized how important it was, but sometimes the public forgets them a little bit. But I want all you veterans that are here today, I want us to recognize our wives, our moms, our dads, our family members who stayed at home during the whole time when we were overseas and serving. So would you veterans please join me in thanking our family members for what they've done? And to the Smith family, good to see you again. I hope things are going well. Me and the First Lady, our thoughts and prayers are still with you. We haven't forgotten. I still tell the story of being in St. Louis the day I met you both for the first time and realized the importance of service, realizing what people sacrificed so all of us could be here today in St. Charles on a beautiful day. But if it isn't for those young men and those young women, we're not able to sit here today and talk about the flag of the United States of America. So I want you to personally know I haven't forgotten. I appreciate you being here today. And we can never do enough to honor your son. But I tell you, every day we're going to remember what he did. And I promise you that in this state. All of you are here today, and we want to thank our veterans. A little over 400,000 veterans in the state of Missouri, to give you an idea how many people were here. Were we on the scale of the states of the United States? We have the 15th most veterans in the United States, which let me tell you what that tells you. It tells you we are good Americans. We support our country. We support the flag of the United States of America. We support the Pledge of Allegiance. Missouri has always been a patriotic state, and I believe, not that there's not challenges with that, but we will continue to be a patriotic state in this country. And what this means to me. Let me say this. Most any veteran could come up here and probably going to tell you about the same thing I'm going to tell you today. But why it's so important we show respect for veterans every year. And I will say we need to do it much more than just once a year. I think there's times we all have a chance we meet veterans somewhere just to say thanks again and again and again. But I would say most of you, like me, young men or young women, when you went into service, for me, I was 19 years old, and I left a little town of 356 people and decided I would join the United States Army. And I'm going to tell you the story behind that a little bit until I got in the Army. In the little town of Wheatland, there was two flags that flew in that little town. There was one over the post office. There was one over the school. And we said the Pledge of Allegiance every day. We did. But I will be honest with you. I did not understand the importance of those two things until I served this country in the United States Army. And I realized when I wore the uniform, it was not about me at that moment. It was about all the people that served before I did, that sacrificed so I had the opportunity to be there. Many of you made those same sacrifices when you began a public service career in the military. I will also tell you the reason we're here today is because what those men and women sacrificed for us to be here today, to be in freedom, to understand what that flag of the United States of America really means, and what it stands for. And if you really think about it, it all started 240 plus years ago. It started when our forefathers handed down things like the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. And ever since that day, people have fought to be able to give those rights, and they have fought in conflicts and wars ever since that time, protecting freedom, protecting the American dream. And I will tell you, the only reason all of us are here today is because of what people done before us. What our mom and dads did, what our grandparents did. what soldiers did before we did. If the American dream is to stay alive, we have to pass down what's been passed down to us for 240 years while we're all here today in freedom. We have to pass that down to the next generations so they have a chance at the American dream. It is our job, every one of us that are here today, it is our job to make sure they understand the importance of the flag of the United States of America. They understand the importance of the Pledge of Allegiance and what those words mean. The next generations have to understand these men and women that are here today wearing their colors and what that really means. That's America. That's not politics, that's America. That's who we are. And the only way that gets done is what me and you do. Continue to fight. Nobody's ever going to give you freedom. You got to fight for it, and you got to protect it. That's what all the men and women that are here today that have served this country have done for me and you. So you have a shot at the American dream. My hat goes off to everybody that served. My heart, my prayers go out to the people that are not here today, that can't be here, that sacrificed everything. But I'll tell you one thing we all can do. We can all hold them up. We can hold them up in our prayers. We can hold them up in our thoughts. And we can honor them every day. Every day we can do that. And I tell you, it is our duty. It is our duty to just do those things. It is an honor and privilege to be here today in St. Charles. It is an honor and privilege to be the 57th governor of the great state of Missouri. God bless you. God bless Missouri. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. We appreciate those remarks. If you're a veteran, you've heard it said that some gave all, but all gave some. Said that backwards. All gave some. Unfortunately, some gave all. And you spoke about the price of freedom, and it's not cheap. And we have a family that has been through that, and we want to honor them today. And with that, I'd like to introduce St. Charles City Mayor Dan Borgmeyer for a special presentation.
Thank you all. It's an honor to be here with you today. As a veteran myself, combat veteran, I think, been there, done that. I don't know that you can understand it if you're not 19 years old like you were, faced with that. I get a little emotional during this, so I'm going to read this. The Bible reference, John chapter 13, verse 15. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends, and I'll add family and country. We're here today to honor our veterans, those courageous men and women who have so valiantly served our country, not knowing what their country would ask of them, but who, even in that circumstance, wrote a blank check for their lives. Add that honor, and that honor could not be better exemplified than by the ultimate sacrifice of young Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. Always faithful, semper fi, is the motto of every Marine, an eternal and collective commitment to the success of our battles, the progress of our nation, and the steadfast loyalty to the fellow Marines they fight alongside. Jared stands for the lives given in the name of justice, liberty, and freedom, in the American dream, and the willingness of those who chose to give unselfishly to protect us. We're honored today to have with us Jared's father, Mark Schmitz, and his mother, Sue Schmitz. To the Schmitz, please accept on behalf of Jared and yourselves the unbridled admiration, sincere thanks, and love of every man, woman, and child in St. Charles County and the nation. If I may ask the Schmitz and County Executive to come forward, we have a presentation. Sue, come on. Mark. It's heavy. I'm not sure Steve can hold it, so give him a little help. Come over here. Mark, come on over on this side of it. And the veterans, please. Steve, Stevenson? These gentlemen have been at it for 65 years in St. Charles and our veterans.
Awesome.
All
All right.
On behalf of St. Charles County and St. Charles City and the many veterans in this crowd and all over the city, the county, and the nation, we're pleased to present you with this American flag in honor of your son, Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. You want to say something, Mark? It's up to you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm going to keep this short and brief, but and I'm sure I speak for Sue as well. The outpouring of support from St. Charles County, state of Missouri, this entire country has gotten us here today through each day. I'd like to say it's getting easier. That'd be a lie. There's a hole that we can't fill. It's just something that we're going to have to get used to living with. But without all your support, I don't think we would be standing as tall as we are today. It has meant everything. Starting with his homecoming, that is something that was so beautiful. Keep all of our veterans in your prayers, as the governor mentioned. We're going to do what we can to help turn this tragedy into something positive. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The veterans also had a plaque that they'd like to present to you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, Mr. and Ms. Schmitz, fellow veterans, and friends and neighbors of St. Charles County. I'm George Newell, a Vietnam veteran. I served in many combat situations, both as a platoon leader and a company commander in the United States Army in Vietnam. I know too well that when you send men and women to war, some will not return home. Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz signed up in the Marines to serve his country and to become a warrior. His assignment in Afghanistan was a difficult one. He served bravely, and gave his life doing it. There can be no more honor than giving your life while protecting fellow soldiers and the citizens that were around him. The veterans of St. Charles County are represented here by the St. Charles County Veterans Committee and the St. Charles Veterans Commission. And we would like to present a remembrance to Mr. and Ms. Schmitz. First, I would like to introduce in the audience Mr. Tom Kuipers. Tom is chairman of the St. Charles City Veterans Commission. Thanks for being here, Tom. And then Tom Stevenson. Tom Stevenson is chairman of the St. Charles County Veterans Committee. And he's going to assist me in presenting a remembrance to Mr. and Ms. Schmitz that shows the respect and honor that we have for their son, Lance Corporal Schmitz. We have a print that's titled, "On Behalf of a Grateful Nation," that was made available to over 4,200 Gold Star families in the United States by a high school art teacher in cooperation with the Vietnam Veterans of America. Tom? We'd like to present this to you. behalf of the grateful nation. Present arms. Under arms.
Thank you all. Can we please have a round of applause for Lance Corporal Schmidt? At this point, I'd like to introduce our U.S. Senator Roy Blunt to come share a few remarks. Senator?
Thank you, Mike. Well, thank you, Mike. Sharing a few remarks. My son, my youngest son, Charlie, was 17 last week, and we were somewhere the week he turned 4, and there was a mic, and he always liked the mic, and I was talking. He got up and stood beside me, so I gave him the mic, and he talked for a while, and a couple hours later, his mother's in the other room putting his pajamas on him, and she said, "Charlie, did you give a speech today?" And he said, "No, just remarks." So there's a guy who'd been to too many political events by 4. I did notice my remarks and Ann's remarks today said brief remarks, and so I'm going to take that for exactly what it is. And Governor, glad to be with you here as a keynote speaker, but also as such a great leader of our state. Thanks for stepping up just as Steve said you did, and playing such a great role leading our state as you're doing every day. The COVID time was a tough time to be a leader, and there's still some tough times coming through that. But today we're here recognizing those who served. 110 years ago, the World War I ended. Now, at the time, they called that the war to end all wars. Since we've had to label it, because it turned out not to be the war that ended all wars. And the determination was the fighting would stop at the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month. And frankly, I've always wondered the tragedy of what happened to somebody on the 10th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Leaders make decisions, and then people have to live with the consequences of those decisions. Seeing that here today with Lance Corporal Schmidt's family as they live with the consequences of decisions made by others, but that's what you sign up for when you decide you're going to defend this precious gift of freedom. But there's an obligation of those who lead to think about the consequences of their leadership. Now, personally, I wasn't for withdrawing from Afghanistan. I'm on the Intelligence Committee. Not only did we get great intelligence for 20 years out of Afghanistan, but we constantly kept our terrorist enemies on the run in Afghanistan. But in the last election, both presidential candidates were for that. But the government has an obligation, if you're going to make an action like that, to think through it and do it in the most responsible way. I hope we learned some lessons from that withdrawal, because we paid a terrible price, both in the cost of lives and the cost of reputation. And our allies around the world wonder how the greatest country in the world could manage to make that exit from Afghanistan what it was. We hadn't lost 13 service people in Afghanistan in any of the preceding 10 years, but we managed to lose people leaving. Leaders have an obligation to lead. They have an obligation to think about the consequences of their leadership, and we all have an obligation, as the governor said so well, to appreciate those who defend our freedom for us. Ronald Reagan said that freedom can't be passed along in the bloodstream. Not even in a great country like ours, freedom can't be passed along in the bloodstream. Freedom has to be achieved by every generation. And those serving like Lance Corporal Schmitz did are out there assuring that their generation and the generations before them who are still living, but depending on 19 and 20 and 25-year-old young men and women to do that job, defend freedom for us. This is a day when we think about those who serve. it's also a day we need to think very thoughtfully about those families and loved ones who stand behind them as they serve. Every day when someone's serving, they have some sense of the moment they're in. But if your mom or dad or spouse or son or daughter, you have to wonder all day, every day, what's happening with that person you love so much who has put themselves in harm's way. And that's what we need to think about on Veterans Day every day. That's what we need to think about, frankly, as I think the governor also said, more often than just on Veterans Day. But the price that has to be paid is a tremendous price for those who pay it and those who love them, and we are grateful for that.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. We appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Congresswoman Ann Wagner.
Good afternoon on this beautiful St. Charles afternoon. What an honor to be with the governor, our senator, our county executive, and our mayor, and so many incredible elected officials and judges that are here today at this local and county level. Most of all, I want to recognize and celebrate our nation's veterans who are here today. To all the veterans and members of the military joining us, thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice to our country. And thank you, as has been mentioned, to your families. Today is a day to honor the men and women who represent the very best, I think, of this country, who stepped forward to serve the nation and protect freedom across the globe. Today we thank them, though it is a debt that can never fully be repaid. Obviously, we spoke about what happened most recently on August 26th. We're reminded of the tremendous sacrifice our service members make when 13 of our servicemen and women laid down their lives in the name of freedom, including our own Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. He was obviously an incredible young man devoted to serving his nation and defending our freedom, an American hero, and we will not let his courage, his selflessness, or his sacrifice be forgotten. We will never forget any of those who made the ultimate sacrifice in duty and in service to their country. They are all American heroes. No matter your branch, your rank, whether you're a soldier, airman, sailor, or Marine, whether you're active duty, discharged, retired, or reserve, you are the greatest fighting force that the world has ever seen. And we thank you for answering that call to duty. As a daughter of a Korean War veteran, I grew up with a deep appreciation for the men and women who serve our country. And as the mother of an Army Ranger, I do not take lightly the sacrifices that those in uniform make for our country. I know how difficult it is to send your loved ones into harm's way. In today's volatile and dangerous world, we are under constant threat from those who wish to rob us of our freedom and our American way of life. This is why we must remain so strong. It's why it's important that we keep this country and this world safe and secure. The peace and the protection that we enjoy was paid for by the blood and sacrifice of generations in uniform who have gone before us. We must ensure that their service to a cause greater than oneself is never taken for granted. My staff and I, we speak with veterans every single week about challenges that they're facing. If you or a veteran that you know needs help with any federal issue, any agency, any help that they may need, I hope that you will reach out to our office. Our debt to our veterans can never be repaid. But I promise you this, that I will fight along with our senator and our governor tirelessly to ensure that every veteran receives the benefits that they deserve. the brave and patriotic heroes that we honor today put God and country before themselves to protect our way of life and our very freedom. May we be ever mindful of their service and sacrifice. May God bless our veterans and their families, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. I thank you.
Well, we're lucky to have the St. Charles Municipal Band with us today. And at this point, they are going to honor us with a musical selection. I should have. I always claim Navy though. Thank you very much. It's always tough when I hear that Navy one to not do Go Navy Beat Army. So it's just part in there. It's in there. But as a Navy Corpsman, I want to say happy birthday, United States Marine Corps, by the way. We're one of the few Navy guys the Marines actually like, so it's always good to be a pseudo guy there. At this point, Bob and Art are already up here. These gentlemen are with the Korean War Veterans Association, Chapter 6, and they will do the laying of our wreath at this time. Well, at this point, I'd like to ask Rich Mittendorf, the chaplain for the American Legion Post 312, to come lead us in our benediction for the day.
Gentlemen, please uncover. Almighty God, we thank you for so many things. Above all, our great United States of America and its many blessings. Help us not to take them for granted. Help us all daily to be thankful for and to praise you. Many of our men and women have served in the armed forces of the United States to preserve the freedom that our nation stands for. May their efforts not have been in vain. May their devotion to duty and to their homeland be an inspiration to those who carry on. Let us not forget our heroes. Amen.
Would ask you to please remain standing for a rifle salute and the playing of taps. Well, on behalf of the St. Charles County Veterans Committee and the St. Charles City Veterans Commission, we'd like to give a special thank you to all of our speakers, to all of our special guests who have joined us today, and for you for joining us today. Thanks to Mary Inger for going above and beyond and doing this. Gentlemen, you've been doing this for longer than I've been alive. So we appreciate you keeping this tradition going. Is it 65 years that we've been having this ceremony now? Could we please give them a round of applause for keeping this tradition going? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you being part of our celebration today. May God bless.